Hi, this is Andy of Andy's Personal Development, and we are currently live in the breakout room. So, welcome, and we love being here for you with quality and value to inspire and to transform. Remember, we are on Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and iTunes. Today, as usual, we have a special guest to share with you for your development and growth and to live your better informed life. So, grab a cup, pull up a seat, and stay tuned for the introduction. Right here, now, live in the breakout room. It's the place for health, happiness, and prosperity. Stay tuned. Hi, folks. Welcome. This is Andy of Andy's Personal Development. And we are so grateful and thankful to the Creator for giving us the opportunity to present yet another wonderful and intriguing episode in the breakout room. I am your award winning and internationally accredited life and development coach and the host of this podcast where you can find health, happiness, and prosperity. Our guest today is a gentleman by the name of D. Alexis Samuels, and he's the CEO and founder of Finelit X. They say that they're on a mission to revolutionize the way that financial literacy is taught and understood. It is an autonomous app that teaches financial literacy without the need of a human monitor. This gentleman brings to the fore 30 years of corporate financial experience, and he will be our special guest as we introduce him. We're going to welcome to the breakout room the Alexis Samuels. How are you today, sir? How are you?
Andy, what a privilege it is to be on the show today and to be able to talk about a very important topic to our audience. Thanks so much for this privilege.
And thank you so very much for being with us and for taking the time to be on the show. I want to go back to the beginning. We were having a conversation in the background before, and you mentioned about staying in touch with your roots. My information tells me that you grew up in Brooklyn, New York, in the projects near the Brooklyn Bridge.
That is
And
correct.
that would have been your beginning, basically, more or less. I want you to share that with us because I have a feeling that in part may have created the impetus, the catalyst for where you are today in terms of your outlook towards education. Share that with us, please.
Yes. Well, it's an emotional topic for me because those roots began back in the 1960s.
Wow.
Yeah, with mom who was that traditional mom. I think we all are familiar with that. That did whatever she could to raise her three children
Mm-hmm.
in a single parent household.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up in the projects downtown Brooklyn, it was tough. It was difficult.
Yeah.
We lacked uh, money, the economic systems in order to be able to make good progress in the world. We also lacked socially. And quite frankly, my world was a 3 block radius at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But then, through the early years, I began to learn that education was critical to advancing and expanding my boundaries.
Right.
And so early on in life, I was granted the opportunity to take a test in school, which, depending upon how I finished, would allow me to either finish high school early or run the full course. Well, I came in
Mm-hmm.
second in the entire graduating class.
Congrats.
Thank you. And I was granted the second job that became available on Wall Street.
Okay.
And so I was at the age of 15,
Mm-hmm.
walking across the Brooklyn Bridge every morning or taking a subway train to
Yeah.
a spot in the mailroom of a publicly traded company in New York City on Wall
Mm-hmm.
Street.
Mm-hmm.
But it exposed me to international trade.
Right.
So immediately I began to learn about international currencies. Back that was way before the EC was formed.
Okay.
And so each, country in Europe or the Far East, but particularly Europe, there were separate.
Uh-huh.
And I had to learn about their currencies, how to manage imports and exports, and discuss negotiating, with vendors. So I began to realize there was a big world out there,
Yeah. Yeah.
much bigger than those 3 blocks that I grew up
That you
around
grew
in
up with.
downtown
Yeah.
Brooklyn. Yeah,
Great.
and that lit a fire
Mm-hmm.
because then I realized there was a way to overcome those social boundaries that
Yeah.
existed, and it really devolved around education.
Great.
Hmm.
Fantastic. Thanks for sharing, my friend. Now, you are known as a game designer and an entrepreneur. How
Yes.
did you get involved in game designing? What was it that led you to that place of experience?
Wow, good question. So, as I continued to learn all I possibly could, I'm a
Hmm.
sponge
Okay.
about the economy, about law. By now, I'm about a 22-year paralegal, also,
Okay. Okay.
about real estate.
Hmm.
For a number of years, I served as the president of a online bank that also specialized in providing mortgage loans
Hmm.
and managing large portfolios of property for major banks as an
Excellent.
asset manager.
Yeah.
So I got to know that industry, and then guess what happened in 2006, 2007?
Hmm.
The foreclosure crisis,
That's right.
which
That's
became
right.
global.
Yeah.
And I happened to have a radio show in the New York City area every Wednesday where I would
Hmm.
take call ins from individuals and I would answer their questions using the law, using my knowledge of the real estate industry.
Yeah.
And the thing that I realized is that the common thread through all of these individuals that were having difficulty with their real estate, and our homes are typically the single largest asset we acquire
That's
during the
right.
course of our lives.
Yeah. Hmm.
And they were about to lose them, not by fault of their own, but because of a
Uh-huh.
system and
Mm.
because the laws themselves were against them. And
Hmm.
number one,
Yeah.
they didn't understand what the laws were, what their rights were.
Hmm.
And
Amazing.
so early morning in the shower, February 2007, the light bulb went off.
Yeah.
And I said, if I could only create a game, which by today's standards, we call it gamification,
Right. Yeah.
and take all that I have developed over the last decade and more in the law, our rights with regard to real estate and consumer credit, and make it simple for the average family household,
Yeah.
particularly Black and Brown and Hispanic,
Hmm.
those who are really
Yeah.
suffering from these
That's right.
socioeconomic problems,
Yeah. Yeah.
to understand their rights.
Hmm.
Well, that motivation moved me to begin designing a game which today is called RTP, or Get on the Road to
Learn.
Prosperity.
Oh, yeah. I have it. I have it right in front of me. Fantastic. Wonderful.
And you
Great.
know what it's become today?
Uh
It's a
huh.
21 topic financial literacy tabletop learning system
Hmm.
that is now distributed in over 20 states within the United States to school systems.
Right.
And that's used within their curriculum to teach their students financial literacy.
Excellent. Wonderful.
It also includes topics such as civil rights,
Uh huh.
crime and punishment,
Uh huh.
health and nutrition,
Hmm.
geography, sports teams. So you can continue to play
Hmm.
this learning system, and the theme is play, learn, achieve.
Wonderful.
So rather than just using your time to play a game, I don't want to
Hmm.
name one of the most popular board games that's out there. Many people play it, and
Yeah.
millions of them have been sold.
Okay.
Almost every household has
What I've
one.
had. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But what do we learn while
Yeah.
we
Exactly.
spend hours?
What do you get in return?
Exactly. The RTP learning system has been likened to it just from the gamification perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone who plays it says this is priceless. If I had only had this when I was younger, I may not have made those mistakes I've made with regard to my credit profile, my debt
Uh-huh.
accumulation.
Yeah.
You know, I would have taken education a little bit more seriously, and
Right.
I'd be a lot further on towards success now. So we're very pleased with the way in which that learning system
Has
has really
developed.
helped many
Yeah.
households today.
Great. Thanks for sharing, Alexis. I
Mhm.
wanted you to tell us a little bit about Prosperity Nation.
Okay. Prosperity Nation is a corporation that I established as a not for profit
Mm-hmm.
501c3
Yeah.
corporation.
Okay.
Since we deal with school systems and community groups around the world, having a not for profit that enables us to take in donations as well
Mm-hmm.
as distribute the RTP learning system to communities that are underserved and that may not be able to, afford a retail price for it. We,
Right.
we look for many, many different ways to fund the manufacture and cost of these learning systems and distribution to
Okay.
get them into households, communities, school systems, association groups, so that everyone can benefit from it. So that's what Prosperity Nation is.
Okay.
And one can even sign up as an ambassador for Prosperity Nation and to distribute these learning systems within their own community or their own schools. And we support them also by covering their costs.
Okay. Great.
And it's a global social movement. That's what
Mm-hmm.
Prosperity Nation is. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing.
Mhm.
Do you have any sort of partnership with the NBA?
Oh, well, we don't have a partnership with
Mm-hmm.
the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
However, we were quite pleased that, about 6, 7 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
we got a call from one of the analysts who had learned about our learning system,
Right.
Kenny Smith. He's still on the NBA with TNT right now.
Yeah. Kenny
And
was with the Rockets, right?
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Star guard, resulting
That's
in
right.
two championships.
Yes, man. That's right. Hats
So,
off.
so he's on a TNT panel right now with Shaquille
Mm-hmm.
O'Neal and
Yeah.
uh, Charles Barkley
Charles
and
Barkley. Right.
and Ernie Johnson.
That's right.
Now, if you think back
Mm-hmm.
to when the entire world was going through the uh, take a knee issue
Right.
with
Yes.
Colin Kaepernick in the football.
Yes. Yes.
Well, the NFL had taken a
Mm-hmm.
position with regard to how the teams should address that issue. When they were pledging allegiance to their flag, should they get down on their knees? Should they stand
Mm-hmm.
up? Should they do
Yeah.
this? Should they do
Yeah.
that? Well, it was putting pressure on the NBA to also take a position. What are we going to say to our teams? What should happen when we start our games, our events?
Right.
And so there was a 1 hour special produced by TNT prior to the start of the 2016 New York Knicks versus Cleveland Cavaliers opening season game.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Okay.
when LeBron James was still with Cleveland.
Right. Yeah. Remember that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it was a 1 hour special that was addressing that issue.
Right.
They brought in Jim Williams from the Football League, and just celebrity from all over were streamed in to
Mm-hmm.
get their viewpoint. And at the end of that 1 hour special, then the panel that I just mentioned, Kenny,
Yeah.
Shaq, Chuck, and Ernie,
Yeah.
all got a chance to express their um, viewpoint of the top
Yeah.
on the topic
Right.
and what they felt the best solution would be to address this socioeconomic issue, because that's really what was underpinning the
That's right.
entire.
That's right.
Colin
Yeah.
Kaepernick was concerned because
Yes.
blacks were not being represented in the NFL,
Hmm.
and
Wow.
so Kenny let it off. And he said, I know this company up in New York called Prosperity Nation. They have a learning system. He said it's kind of like it plays like a game, but it teaches you all about your rights and about finance and credit. And he said that really is the issue, because the underlying concern is that blacks and Hispanics are not treated the same way if they're poor
Ha. That's
as
right.
those ones who have
That's right.
money.
Mm-hmm.
And he went on to illustrate in a couple of ways. And so we were proud. We were all sitting in front of our screens waiting to see what he was going to say. But we were very proud that he saw the value in our learning system, and he gave us a nice endorsement.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Sounds good. So, what I'm concerned about, and I was just thinking about it while you were speaking, are you being approached by any of the colleges in particular to involve your program in something that would provide a scholarship
Hmm.
for persons who are seeking to incorporate this into their education curriculum? Has that
Yes.
happened to you guys?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We,
How? Mm-hmm.
we work with colleges across the country.
Mm-hmm.
And when COVID-19 um, introduced itself on the world scene back in early 2020,
Mm-hmm.
many schools already having access to our tabletop, offline learning
Yeah.
system
Yeah.
asked us if we could convert that learning system into an online uh, curriculum
Okay.
that could teach financial literacy.
Right. Right.
It was always our goal to do that, but COVID forced us to bring that issue to the fore more quickly.
Mm, yeah.
And so we established the brand called Finelit X.
Right.
Finelit X stands for financial literacy with that X factor.
Ah, I like that.
Finelit
Okay.
X.
Good.
And you can
Good.
go to finelitx.com and learn about it.
Mm-hmm.
But what is it? As you had mentioned, and I thank you for that, Andy, at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of the show, you spoke of it being an autonomous app that
Yeah.
would teach financial literacy without the need of a human monitor.
Yes.
So we use AI, we use
Mm-hmm.
predictive learning, we use gamification, we use reward systems, and we have now brought financial literacy into the digital age.
Right.
Today, we live in a world that's dominated by technology.
That's right. That's right.
One of our consultants called me just before the show, and he was saying he teaches in one of the schools in New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
and another one in Philadelphia. He was there on the Philadelphia campus yesterday teaching 8-year-olds
Okay.
financial literacy, and he uses
Yeah.
our learning system to do that.
Right. Great.
Um, well, he said that he took a poll inside the class. How many of you kids, these are 8-year-olds, by the way,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
have cell phones? They all
Wow.
raise their hand.
Wow.
They
Yeah.
all raise their hand.
I expected as much.
So
Wow.
kids are introduced to technology through media today. They're ready. They have the aptitude and the ability to learn important financial values,
Mm-hmm.
and it simply has to be communicated
Right.
in the proper way.
Yeah.
Now, our reality today is that the global education systems are still rooted in the old fashioned delivery system. How many of us know that the current delivery system, education delivery system, began some 250 years ago in 1773
Wow.
in the old one room schoolhouse?
Mm.
Think about that. We've heard about that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was learning like back then? This was the introduction of formal learning. Prior
Mm-hmm.
to that, we were taught inside our own homes.
Yeah.
Our parents had the responsibility to teach us. But as of then, schools began to develop. And so in communities and farm towns, there would be this red one room, building that on Sundays would be used as a church,
Yeah. Yeah.
but during the week
That's
would
right.
be used
Yes.
to teach the kids from the community.
Yeah.
And then you had one person that was often called the headmaster,
That's right. Mm-hmm.
and he or she was responsible for developing a curriculum and teaching all the kids, regardless of their age. They would all get together in that one
Yeah.
room.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they needed discipline, they would discipline them. If they failed to grasp the concepts, they would be required to stay after school or to stay longer, and they would be punished. But that's how the current institutional delivery system for education began.
Yeah.
Well, how did it continue?
Mm-hmm.
As communities continued to increase in population, they had to expand these schools to a 2-room school, to a 3-room, to get a larger building.
Right.
And as the decades passed by, teachers were trained and invited in to teach. Administrative levels began to develop so that
Mm-hmm.
now that old schoolmaster is often called a superintendent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the superintendent might be responsible for teaching and overseeing 100 schools
Yeah.
within that city, and
Mm-hmm.
100 principals and assistant principals and administrative staff, and the classes have developed. But along with those classes also created separation and divide,
Wow.
because what funded those schools, as is still the case today, is government, taxes, wealthy corporations, and families. And if those schools are primarily funded by these wealthy families, well, guess who are the kids that get into those schools?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And guess what the eligibility standards are?
Hmm.
Many are surprised to know that's even how the so-called Ivy League schools.
Okay. Good about that.
Yeah.
Ah.
Ivy League first started out as a sports association,
Yes.
and they played cricket and those kinds of sports that most blacks and Hispanics at the time uh, were unaware of.
Mm-hmm.
But they became social groups,
Right.
so that then they converted to teaching, so that the Princetons of the world and the Harvards of the world and the Yales, etc., the first 8 schools to be considered Ivy League then established their own social status.
Right.
So if your family had an important name, a recognized name, or if you were wealthy,
Yeah.
then you could get into those schools more quickly. You can meet those eligibility standards. Sometimes they would even look the other way. If you were willing to fund putting on a wing or adding another room, to the university. They established criteria for advancement also. Associate's degrees,
Okay.
bachelor's degrees,
Wow. Yeah.
master's,
Yeah. Yeah.
doctorate.
Uh-huh.
Now, clearly, it's important to have education for many topics, such as in the medical industry. You want to make
Mm-hmm.
sure your doctor, your surgeon, is credentialed
Yeah.
and good at what they do.
Exactly.
Um, but virtually every topic is available today, and your access to jobs and employment is often predicated on what degree you have, or what school you have attended, or along with that, what fraternity did you join,
Right. 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 Yeah.
or sorority
Mm.
did you join,
Mm-hmm.
so that it still has become largely a club,
Yeah.
a network, and many students go to schools with that in mind. If I go to that school, I'll be able to get inside that university. I'll be able to join that sorority or that fraternity, because those who do then can command a higher salary.
Yeah. Exactly.
I can use that network to get ahead in life later on. But then this is what also happened. That same club established the cost of entry,
Mm.
so that within Ivy League schools, it might cost you 60, 70, $80,000 per year,
Right.
or even per semester,
Yeah.
in order to get the necessary credits to graduate and get that degree.
Wow.
That in of itself separates one student from the other, because now you have something that is really based in one's socioeconomics. if you come from a poor family or a poor community, what that really means is that you're not going to get the same education as those who come from the richer communities. And if you don't have the same education, then how do you advance? How do you succeed? And so it was with all of this background, all of this demand, that we've designed the Finelit X autonomous app to be able to distribute education in a more leveled manner so that the school systems can partner with us, universities too,
Yeah.
to distribute and to utilize this learning platform. Because based in blockchain and smart contracts, which is the digital world of today, school systems can embed their curriculum and distribute it by scale, far and wide, reducing their administrative costs and bringing learning topics to students that otherwise would not have had access to it because of the barriers to cost.
I get it. I get
Yeah,
a strong feeling, Alexis, that from your heart, I realize that your desire, your greatest desire, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, is to really create the opportunity to sort of level the playing field, so to speak.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Nice. And I love that because that means the foundation of this Finelit X app is one that is explosive and dynamic. And I know that you're going to accomplish what you seek to do. On that note, we just want to take a quick ad break. We will be back in a minute with D. Alexis Samuels, the CEO and founder of Finelit X, that wondrous and engaging app for financial and also educational literacy. So stand by, folks. We'll be right back. FindRadioGuest.com, the place to click to find guests to interview for free. And if you're a radio show booker, podcaster, talk show host, or television producer, then this is the place to get podcasts and radio interviews or promote your books and products as a guest expert sponsor. FindRadioGuest.com. Check it out. Hi, people. This is a special invitation for you to join our community. Yes, we're inviting you to join our community for 2022. What's in store? Well, what we want is your feedback on our content and our guests, but more so on what you need to be inspired and transformed from your current condition to one of happiness, health, and prosperity. So drop us a line and reach out. Help us to better help you achieve your goals. So, people, inbox me at www.facebook.com/mddreamer/. That's www.facebook.com/mddreamer/. Or send me an email at lovebitsa@gmail.com. That's lovebitsa@gmail.com. We love hearing from you as we build our partnership in growth and development, and we look forward to your communicating. Help us to help you to live a better life in personal growth and development from Andy's Personal Development. We love you. We look forward to hearing from you. See you soon. Bye for now. And so we are back in the breakout room with the man, D. Alexis Samuels of Finelit X. Alexis, there's something that when you were speaking about the history and the focus of this fabulous app that you guys have put together, it's something that sort of rose in the back of my mind, and I want to throw it out to you.
Mhm.
When you were doing your market survey and stuff, did you come across a similar version of your app? And if so, what were your thoughts about it? Additionally, what do you find now happening in terms of competition for what you guys are doing?
Well, yeah, we've done market research to identify what's out there in the market now and whether it's adequate to address the needs. And there are many uh, platforms out there
Mm-hmm.
on the internet that teach a myriad of subjects.
Uh-huh.
We felt financial literacy was the most important topic to address. Uh, there are very few programs that teach financial literacy. There are economists, many books have been written about it. There are game apps,
Mm-hmm.
there are consultants and teachers that may teach financial literacy, but we find that none of them are really addressing the problem adequately.
Okay.
And we have
Okay.
to get a little bit into the science of it to get it, to really get
Mm-hmm.
it. Most people don't realize that the topic of financial literacy is a life or death topic. Life or death. One's financial illiteracy is often responsible for the quality of their health,
Yeah.
because if they
Yeah.
don't have access to good health care, good information, which, sad to say,
Yeah.
costs a lot, whether it be
Yes.
prescription drugs or doctor visits, etc.,
Uh-huh.
which directly relates to their financial standing, their mortality is worsened.
Mm.
Obesity
Yeah. Yeah.
is directly related, as many surveys have shown, to one's financial literacy. One's debt load, how much debt you carry,
Yeah.
credit card debt,
Uh-huh.
student tuition, and all that creates stress, anxiety, hypertension.
Wow.
It's all related. Food insecurity,
Right.
also related to one's financial literacy.
Mm-hmm.
So we approach this topic not just from the standpoint of we'll show you how to improve your credit score or how to save or how to budget, how to get ready for retirement. All of those are directly related to financial literacy, are critically important as well. But we go deeper. We go into the psychology of financial literacy so that when we teach it in a way that can actually remap the brain
Ah, there you go. Yes.
using gamified elements, which our psychologists have proven can take bad habits, erase them, and create new synapses and new neurons
Yeah.
that are influenced by dopamine,
That's right.
that
Yeah.
reward center in our minds,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when we are rewarded for making good choices.
Yep.
And so, not just in our tabletop gamified learning system, but also in the app, which is still under development, soon to be released for the next school year. There's a reward system that goes along, or that accompanies every good decision that's made.
Mm-hmm.
You are rewarded with cryptocurrency. You're rewarded with many prizes and points that stimulates positive response and a desire to make those right decisions. It actually creates good financial values. And that's why I say you can't compare this to just a basic game. Where you go around the board and you acquire this or get rid of that, whatever, and you just waste time. But you're
Wow.
investing in your future when you engage with this, the RTP, Road to Prosperity Learning System,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or the Finelit X system. And so our vision is, with the new Finelit X app, we're already engaging with universities around the world, uh, even global organizations like UNICEF
Yeah. Yeah.
and UNESCO, um, organizations like UNCF, United Negro College Fund. He spoke about scholarships,
Mm-hmm.
also.
Yeah. Yeah.
We also partner with a corporation called Gift of College,
Okay.
which provides a debit card that allows those who want to through 529 plans,
Mm-hmm.
have a college savings account
Mm-hmm.
that can be contributed to by any family member or any person outside the family to help that student prepare for college. So it multiplies their college earnings on a pre-tax basis in that way. So we've partnered with them to get the word out through their system as well. And when a student through the app works with us, takes the financial literacy course, which, by the way, is mandated now in some 45 states within the United States,
Okay.
that students have to have a personal finance course now in order to be able to graduate high school.
All right. Sounds
So
good.
we partner with universities so
Mm-hmm.
that they offer our financial literacy curriculum through our low cost platform. The
Mm-hmm.
students play it, they learn it, they get certificates co-branded with the university. They get credit for taking the course. They earn income while they play or learn the
Yes.
course
Yes.
that can then be spent to cover tuition,
Mm-hmm.
room and board, other education and sundries, which begins to change the paradigm that has negatively impacted many of our communities. The students take their future in their own hands this way, when they could actually develop tuition and scholarships on their own by
For
taking the course.
themselves. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Wonderful. I love the sort of dichotomy that you use with regards to the neurosciences.
Hmm. Hmm.
And we have learned from the studies of elastoplasticity how
Wow.
the mind can actually rewire, rebrand,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
change and
Yeah.
adapt to concepts that would take people to a place where they can have good endorphins and produce serotonin more regularly
That's
to
right.
create better relationships and sleep good at night and stuff.
Yeah.
I love that. That's fantastic.
And
That's
you know
fantastic.
why that's so important too?
Mm-hmm.
85% of students learn financial literacy from the values of
Mm-hmm.
their parents.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But if the parents are not financially literate,
Mm.
then they continue to pass down bad habits to their
That's right.
children on a
Yeah.
generational level.
Mm-hmm.
But now we have the ability, understanding the science behind this learning process,
Mm-hmm.
to change that paradigm, to
Right.
completely reverse it,
Right.
and then to create this upward trajectory, for our children and our grandchildren, and really begin to see more success in our futures.
Sounds good.
Mhm.
So, Alexis, tell us, do you have the opportunity to share some of your personal life learned lessons
Wow.
and incorporate it into what would probably be a platform for producing information about Finelit X? Is there some sort of amalgamation of your personal experience plus the corporate goals of this app?
Oh, absolutely. That's really where it all came from.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my own life,
Okay.
on board,
Right.
or
Right. Yeah.
in a curriculum.
Great.
The
Great.
psychology side of it also.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I've learned a lot of lessons. I've made lots of mistakes in my
Yeah.
early days.
Yeah.
I faced the same boundaries that the rest of us and our children and our grandchildren are still facing today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've learned, though, that by understanding terminology, by understanding the rules and procedures, the do's and don'ts of applying for credit, for example, when kids are coming up through high school, they get to be about 16, 17, 18 years old. Then they come home and, mom pulled the mail out the mailbox, and suddenly there's letters addressed to them from
Hmm.
credit companies
Yeah. Yeah.
offering
Yeah.
them, credit cards.
Right.
Well, I got those too. And, they play on your own pride. Wow. They want to offer me credit.
Mm.
It's $300,
Yeah.
and that's a big thing to many of our kids.
Okay.
And if they're not careful, they might, go ahead and sign the bottom of that application. They get that card, they go out and blow they blow it all up
Hmm.
without
Wow.
realizing the algorithms and the standards that's used by Equifax and Experian and TransUnion to determine what your credit score is. So you get over that ratio, your credit score, you barely had one to start with, but it
Mm-hmm.
starts out extremely low. And then you begin to realize the social negatives that go along with having a low credit score.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you can't get a loan for a car. You can't get a loan without paying extremely high interest rate for a
Mm.
house, the
Yeah.
single
Yeah.
biggest asset that most of us will ever acquire.
Mm-hmm.
Even to rent an apartment today,
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
landlords want to see what your credit looks like to get into a school,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
university. They want to check your credit score. So all of these things are critically important. It's what I learned early on too. Now, we have another issue that over the last couple of decades has arisen. It wasn't as prevalent when I was a little boy, but it existed in its own form.
Okay.
Um, Social media,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
places the emphasis on getting things,
Wow.
dressing in a certain way, designer clothes, designer sneakers. And these things can cost you um, hundreds of dollars. So early on, I didn't understand the difference between an appreciating asset
Mm-hmm. And
versus a
depreciate.
depreciating
Yeah.
asset.
Exactly.
And,
Exactly.
and most of what social media promotes, get this cologne that costs
Mm.
$300 a bottle. It'll make you smell good,
Hmm.
or you'll smell like that person on TV.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that's what they use,
Mm-hmm.
or wear these sneakers. That's what they run up and down the court with. And there's new ones that come out all the time. Or use this technology. You got to get this latest cell phone. They come out every 6 months with a new edition that costs an extra $1,000 to purchase. But every single one of these things are what are called depreciating
That's
assets.
right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So what are you doing? You're transferring wealth, the wealth that you earned or your parents might have earned, to the designers and the brand names of the world. So they become billionaires
Yeah.
and you become poorer.
So sad.
Yeah. So if
Yeah.
we understand how the world rotates as it relates to its economy
Mm-hmm.
and how it's fueled by many unnecessary things, your life doesn't really depend on these things. You
Yeah.
can have nice things, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing at all to have a nice car.
That's right.
But can you afford it?
Big question.
Have you taken care of the priorities first?
Yes.
Have you thought about becoming an entrepreneur?
Mm.
Because even the current work environment
Mm-hmm.
is leaving many people tired, filled with anxiety and stress, completely depleted at the end of a work week. And once you understand what gross wages means versus net wages, what you bring home, you can't afford, most people can't afford. Over 65% in the US are living from paycheck to
Paycheck
paycheck,
to paycheck. Yeah.
and don't
Yeah.
and don't have an emergency savings. So do we rely upon government, or do we become more responsible for our own futures by making some wise choices and by becoming financially literate? It's so critically important today
That's
that
right.
we
Yeah.
invest in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's our vision. That's what we have. That's what we are with the RTP learning system and the Finelit X
Great. Great.
education platform.
Yeah, we just have about 1 minute to go, so I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Alexis Samuels for coming on the show and sharing such incredible and powerful, inspirational information about Finelit X and what the app is going to do. And he just shared a bit of what they see happening for the future. So we thank you. That's wonderful. We're going to give you now about 30 seconds, the Alexis Samuel, so that you can share your personal information with people who need to get in contact with you. They need more information. They want you to speak at a function or they want to get more
Mhm.
information on the app. It's all yours.
Great.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Andy. Well, if you'd like to reach out to us and partner with us, either to purchase or to distribute the RTP learning system, to your community, to your school system, you can reach us at social, SOCIAL, at FinLitX.com. That's FINLITX.com. You can email me at that same email address, social at FinLitX.com. I personally see those emails that comes in and will personally respond to you. Or you can even purchase the RTP, Road to Prosperity Learning System, through our not-for-profit organization. Go to prosperitynation.org, prosperitynation.org. We're partnering with universities directly, with school systems, large and small, with private institutions, public institutions, corporations, community groups. And in this way, join us with our goal and global vision to change the paradigm on our communities, socially, economically, by enhancing our ability to learn financial literacy. Thanks so much. It's been a real honor and privilege to be here on the show this morning.
And thank you so much, the man, the Alexis Samuel, the CEO and founder of Finelit X, the autonomous app that teaches financial literacy without need of a human monitor. Check it out, folks. So we have come to the end of another episode, exciting and informative and inspirational, right here on Andy's Personal Development in the Breakout Room. We'll see you next time. Until then, remember, the world needs you and the world needs your love. But remember also the three watchwords: health, happiness, and prosperity. We love you. We say to you, Godspeed, Shalom, Namaste. Until next time. Bye for now.